The next award presentation is one of the most exciting and rewarding parts of our convention, recognizing our world clients. A World Client of the Year, very special. This is what our business is all about. The recipients of this award are living proof that our programs can and do have a significant impact on people. The World Client of the Year is chosen from many outstanding nominees from around the globe. You have all seen the positive, life-changing effects of an LMI or SMI program in the lives of many people, personally and professionally. We are proud to provide you with an opportunity to share your clients' positive experiences through this special award. The World Client of the Year is a prestigious award available only to those clients who have made a difference in their business, in their industry, and in their community through the demonstrated use of our programs. Any client may be nominated for this honor. Winners are selected by a special panel of judges. To introduce our next World Client of the Year, we'd like to ask SMI LMI General Director Greg Walpole from South Africa to come to the podium.
It's not always a good idea to give the microphone to a salesman. Because, you know, if you sit, I'll sell. South Africa is a country of great disparity and great differences. Just to give you some basic figures so you can get an understanding of what we do there, including refugees and migrants, about 50 million people. That's a lot of people. There's 6 million registered taxpayers only, and 3 million of those are civil servants. South Africa is quite well known for its cricket, better known than some other countries here. It provides rugby players to many nations around the world because we've got a very weak currency. It also has some of the most famous murderers in the world. But while we may be quite well known for the murderers, we're not that well known for the miracles. And it is quite a miracle in South Africa that 3 million private sector taxpayers can actually sustain that country and produce a GDP, which is quite phenomenal. So one of the other miracles in South Africa is the absolute truth that the only way South Africa is going to develop its potential and remain a member of the world with a sound economy is through the private sector. The private sector has a responsibility. It's not a burden. It has the challenge. It's an opportunity to actually turn things around and produce people in South Africa who can actually access their potential. Ian Dawson's words, Africa is too rich to be poor. And its poorness is just a mindset. So I'm pretty proud that I'm in SMI LMI. I'm pretty proud that we are the banner bearers of this change that needs to take place. It's absolutely essential that this change takes place for our country, for our community, and for the world community. It's a great place, South Africa, and we've got some great people in it. And with us today are some of those great people. They've gone from suspect to prospect to client to friend, and now they're partners. I've got to say a little bit about your plan of action. If you want to have somebody up here, you've got to put it in your plan of action. And you've got to put it in your future description. And then you've got to go out there and find partners that you can work with that will make it happen, not just for you, but for them. Beverly and Henry are going to tell you this. Well, Henry's going to tell you the story. Beverly's going to come up and accept the reward for the hard work that they've done in the past 5 years. They have turned around a small company. They have actually created great opportunities for their people. And they do it for their people, not for themselves. And for that reason, they are really, really, really great World Clients of the Year. I'm going to ask Beverly and Henry to come up here and join us to receive your award.
morning, everyone. Thank you very much for the opportunity. It's been a great honor for us at Weco to be awarded SMI Client of the Year Award. We sometimes forget what we do daily is unusual. Recording the story of the God of old, hiding the secret of life inside the mind of men, where we knew men would never look for it. We knew when it comes to operating a successful business, being profitable, growing our market share and following our passion. It is necessary to reach out and touch the minds of our men and women. We believe that education is the key to enlightenment and a positive change. In 2010, my wife, Beverly, and I had 3 very fortunate events. We bought the company Weco, we met Greg Walpole and were introduced to SMI, and we met Pisani Moyo. Not having the gift, seeing the future, I wonder, looking back, if we would have known what these 3 things would have grown into over the past 5 years. To say that when these things happened, that we were short of money, was an understatement. We were so close of hitting the wall. In fact, when Beverly had a first initial meeting with Greg, she only had enough money to pay for either the parking or the coffee. Greg was gentleman enough to pay for the coffee. Thanks, Greg. We were introduced to Paul J. Meyer and the SMI concept in 2010. But we have been introduced 10 years prior to the teaching of Earl Nightingale and W. Clement Stone, and had confused ourselves reading Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Weco was founded in 1970 and operated in the engineering and mining sector. In 2010, it was plodding along to the end stage of its life, winding down to retirement. More than 80% of its turnover came from one middleman customer, employing 11 full-time people and achieving approximately 1.6 million per annum in sales. The niche engineering product was a challenge for us. We had never heard of a drifter and had only passing knowledge of hydraulics. The market and customers were unknown to us. The factory was a treasure trove of machinery and tools. Perhaps it was a chance for me to own and play with all these machines. That was the deciding factor for me rather than building an empire. We needed to borrow money to buy the business, and like all entrepreneurs do, we thought, let's try the banks. It was late in 2009 when the world financial crisis hit Johannesburg. Not even the richest square mile in Africa seems to offer us any help. We were turned away time after time. Not knowing about the 4 agreements then, we took it very personally. But it made us more determined to succeed. The naysayers were out in force, saying you shouldn't have such big dreams. You should be careful with your money. Be happy what you have and make do like everyone else. Turning out the chatter and remain focused, as Randy said yesterday, took all our energy, but we stuck to it. When one of us was up, the other was down, and we helped one another to be more up than down. In fact, in the words of Bobby Gottsell, the ex-CEO of Anglo American, we only needed to be 51% up in order to make more right choices than wrong ones. We were worried, but kept on visualizing and believing that this was already a done deal. Once again, Napoleon Hill came to the rescue with the story of the little colored slave girl who goes to the mall owner for a 1 coin, and even in the face of being beaten, refused to leave, because the threat of being beaten now is less than the consequence of going home without the money. We needed 7 million rand. We were introduced to a company called Growth in Africa, and at our first meeting, I can remember we were so annoyed when the consultant told us they only had 1 million per deal to invest. We need 7. The unforeseen forces of the universe were conspiring to make this happen, as their 1 million was measured against the US dollar, which equates to, at the time, exactly 7 million. People asked, what kept us going? We often laughingly say, we were too stupid to stop. While this always raises a laugh, it's not true. The truth is that it was so real, we believed we had it. We were doing it, and the money was only the consequence and was following soon. We took over the business on the 10th of June 2010, and as the last signature was placed on the document, 3 men walked across the railway line outside the factory, blowing the jubilant and noisy vuvuzelas that were synonymous with the Soccer World Cup. Most non-soccer loving South Africans find this noise to be unbearable. For us, it will always be the sound of success. We have won covered in the South African flag colours, taking pride of place in our boardroom. We have learned, we were taken to the factory floor and being introduced to the staff, none of whom had any knowledge of the takeover. We were understandably very worried and unhappy with the announcement. They felt betrayed. Some of them have been working for the company for more than 25 years. Within the week, reality set in. We realized that most of our plans and dreams were not possible with the current setup, and we had to reinvent the company from the ground up. The company had no records to speak of. We had to create 2 years of financials into our accounting software, just to create a stock picture of the customers and who bought what products. The staff willfully complained about the changes. We realized that they were driven by fear and did not understand what had just happened to them. The executives started the dynamic of personal goal-setting course. We enjoyed the SMI course so much and experienced firsthand the power of goal setting. If we were to position ourselves as industry leaders, we would need high-caliber staff with exceptional technical skills. South Africa, like most countries in the world today, faces a shortage of technical skills. This is also made worse by the poor education system. Some of our workforce were illiterate and had non-critical thinking skills. So in 2011, we formed the Weco Training Center and employed a full-time in-house teacher, Busani Moyo, to focus on basic English reading and writing and mathematics. We chose to add the SMI program to open up the minds of our men and women to the potential that they had deep inside them. The Department of Labour laughed at us when we approached them to register for our first apprenticeships. They said we were too small. We have since qualified our first 2, have 1 ready to write his trade test, and a further 3 studying. SMI training started in 2011 and has continued ever since. We have conducted 33 entry-level courses for clerical and factory floor workers and a further 11 middle management courses. Our sales team has been totally transformed by the SMI courses, and we have built a sales engine to take us from 2015 to 2020, with 5 new hires this month. The simplicity of the courses is key, as well as the repetition learning through audio and visual media and goal setting. Nothing is quick when you're on the moment, but looking back over the 5 years, we have achieved a great deal. The transformation has been incredible, because from $1.5 million a year with 3 customers in 2010 to $4.5 million this year with 15 customers. Our staff has grown from 11 to 70, and the number of units we repair each month from 16 to 50. The growth is counted in numbers, but numbers are not all there is. We are now, by South African standards, a medium-sized company. We have transformed ourselves into a semi-corporate structure with an external board of directors to guide us. We have sold 20% of our company to a black investor to comply with the government's affirmative action policies. A further 6% has been donated to the Education Trust that provide bursaries for underprivileged youth to attend to universities and study towards mechanical engineering degrees. We have invested heavily in staff training and well-being and converted our audit from 10% compliance to 87% for occupational health and safety. At the end of 2014, we conducted an engagement survey to evaluate how happy our staff are. And I'm pleased to tell you that Weco enjoys 65% engagement, while South Africa generally only records 10%, and the world average is only 13%. We have one thing that our opposition does not: a team of dedicated and passionate people, all focused on our vision of 2020. With a team at our back who is as passionate about our growth as we are, we cannot fail. We use the term rock-solid dependability regularly, as both a measure of a job well done and a promise to our customers of what they can expect from Weco. And on this note, I would like to introduce you to the man who made it possible in great measures. And as a result of his dedication, the story has been told today. Our teacher, mentor, and coach, Busani Moyo.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't realize that you guys look this scary when one is standing up here. My name is Busani Moyo. I'm the Human Resources Manager at a successful company called Weco in Johannesburg, South Africa. I say successful because as a company we do great things. Our Managing Director, Henry, has already told you guys the greater part of our story. I don't have a plan to repeat what he has already said, but I must emphasize, we are not only successful just because we think we are successful. We are successful, ladies and gentlemen, because we've got a mutual relationship with Success Motivation International in South Africa. I'm going to tell you guys how I came to have a relationship with this successful company and how its success eventually became my own success. But I'm also going to tell you practically the stories of young men and women who have come to work for our company and in that regard transformed their lives in the most remarkable ways. My relationship with Weco started on 24 November in 2010 when I applied for a job to teach basic literacy and numeracy. That November afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I met a woman who has got such a big heart. I don't know how she contains it inside her rib cage. That woman, ladies and gentlemen, is called Beverly John Gomes. And Beverly John Gomes is here with me this morning. Good morning, Bev. Hi. That's an amazing woman, ladies and gentlemen. You guys should get to know her. Instead of giving me, you know how you prepare for an interview, tie, jacket, the works. She wasn't interested in doing an interview with me. She told me how she was looking not only for a teacher, she was looking for a human being first. A human being with a defined purpose who knew exactly what he wanted out of life. She told me her dream, and she said that her dream was to make available training and development to everybody, no matter how old. So I sat there, ladies and gentlemen, and I said, this woman is actually sitting with the person she's looking for. I was only hoping that she could see that. But the fact that I'm standing here this morning means that yes, indeed, she did. 2011, I did my first SMI course, Grandmasters of Success, which taught us skills and attitudes for first-line management. That course, ladies and gentlemen, eventually brought to me the meaning of Beverly's words a year later when she talked about purpose. After having done that course, I was able to define my purpose very, very clearly. And I defined my purpose, ladies and gentlemen, as to bring a consciousness to each and every individual that I meet, that inside each and every one, there is a leader. And ladies and gentlemen, this is what I have done ever since that day. Our world today faces a leadership crisis. That is why it is this big mess. We suffer from a paralysis of titles, where those who do not have them shy away from leading, and where those who do have the titles avoid their responsibility. Armed with the knowledge that I got from my first course, I went on my second SMI LMI course, Effective Personal Productivity. This time, I learned that success is contagious. You can never say you're successful unless and until you have shared your success with others. So I approached the company and I said, I now want to facilitate SMI to our employees. And they said yes. I did a facilitation course through the guidance of Greg. And I started facilitating my own SMI lessons. I wanted to bring a consciousness to the rest of our employees, the SMI teaching that the mind is a creative servant. I wanted to bring this SMI teaching to the rest of our employees that positive expectancy creates reality. I wanted to show everybody that I meet that inside each and every one of us is a dormant leader, and that leader needs to erupt and fill the leadership vacancy that we currently experience. Through my facilitation, I've met amazing young people, but I'll tell you guys the story of a young man called Denlin. When I met him, when he started his facilitation last year, he told me that South Africa had bestowed upon him poverty. And as a black man, there was no way he was going to get out of that circle. I started working with him on goal setting. After a week, he came back to me and said that his goal was to double his income. I mean, I'm a very positive person, but I thought, now I don't know what I've just done here. I think this guy's not getting exactly what I'm saying. He came with a plan. After about 3 weeks, he came with a plan to go to the industrial areas, buy car washing detergents in 5-liter containers, fabric softener, and dishwashing liquid. And so he would decant it into 500 milliliter containers and start selling it in his neighborhood. He bought stuff for 750 rand, about $75, on his first weekend. By Sunday, if he went on Friday, by Sunday he was already carrying $150. He doubled the money he had. After a few weeks, he came to me and said, Busani, what do I do with all the money that I'm now making on the weekends and after work? He, today, as I speak, ladies and gentlemen, has got an account with one of South Africa's biggest investment houses, Alan Gray. That young man, ladies and gentlemen, is going towards success. There is no turning back. I told him that, Denlin, if you do this, if this set of mind, if your goal setting using SMI is going to stay with you, by the time you are as old as Henry, our managing director, you'll be as rich as him. And that is where he is going. Ladies and gentlemen, Denlin is not the only employee that I've worked with that has changed himself. Other employees have got simpler goals. I want to stop smoking. I've seen people stop smoking like there was no tomorrow. People tell me they want to buy cars. 2 of the employees that I had on SMI training today have got their cars parked on our parking lot as I speak. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very privileged that by growing other people, I've grown myself too. I'm standing here on this podium this morning in the United States of America on my very first trip overseas in my life. What more would you want? SMI has taught me that nothing is impossible. But again, SMI has made me meet one of the greatest teachers I've never known. His name is Greg Walpole. Greg is the man that made me understand what Paul J. Mayer means when he says, whatever you ardently desire, sincerely believe, enthusiastically work upon, act upon, must inevitably come to pass. Must being a major word. Greg has taught me the value of the question, why? In my own facilitation, I ask why, and people stop and think. I'm very privileged, ladies and gentlemen, because every morning when I wake up from my bed, I'm going to do something I love. I'm going to live my purpose. I am living by Paul J. Mayer's words when he says, people are happy and fulfilled when they use their lives to fulfill the noble and inspiring purpose for which their Creator designed them. That is why, ladies and gentlemen, I have dedicated my life to teaching the lesson: a man owes nothing to what he was born with. He can build himself, not only by going through life, but by growing through life. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
volleyball. And the first year, she made what was called the B team. The select team had 2 teams for that age group. She made the B team, the second team. But we thought, okay, this is her first year, she's learning. And she played that year and did okay. And the next year, they had tryouts again. And the way they did it was kind of strange. You'd go to tryouts, and they said, okay, we will call you in the next 2 days if you've made the team. And so we tried out on Sunday, and so they were going to get called either Monday or Tuesday. And so Monday went by, and she hadn't gotten called. And as girls that age do, they were texting each other. And she'd found out that 12 girls